Hey YouTubers, Grimmy here, and this is the video review for the Transformers Generations Leader Class Jetfire. That's right, the first Leader Class figure in the Generations line, and it's none other than one of the biggest Autobots, Jetfire. Now Jetfire had a bit of an interesting history. The original toy was actually a Robotech Valkyrie that was pretty much repainted as an Autobot. Obviously, nowadays Harmony Gold is claiming rights to that mold, so Jetfire hasn't been able to get too much of a proper remakes, and a reissue is pretty much impossible. But Hasbro has decided to finally give us a new version of the character that closely homages the original toy. Now, this isn't the first Jetfire figure to be released. 2006 they actually released a Classics Jetfire, which was a pretty good figure, except it didn't really stand too well on its own power because it was very back heavy and it had somewhat poor feet. This one tries to improve those faults and goes a larger size as well to better illustrate the fact that Jetfire was a bigger jet and a bigger bot. Now, taking a look at Jetfire, you can see that he is a nice sized jet, reminiscent of an F-15, much like the Seekers, but he is a much larger scale. For example, we'll bring in Universe 2.0 Starscream, and as you can see, Jetfire really dwarfs Starscream and kind of messes with the whole scale issue because well, the cockpit's designed to work with figures, like regular. Well, the two cockpits are different scales, so they're actually designed to work with people of different sizes, which is a little bit odd. But yeah, I mean, Jetfire is a lot bigger. Another size comparison in this form may as well do it. Going to bring in Masterpiece Sunstorm. Now, as far as jets go, these guys are actually a little bit closer to each other in scale. Sunstorm's a little bit bigger, but he's not designed to be in scale with the other Autobots, so, you know, that's fine. Well, other Decepticons, I'm sorry. You know, these are two different line figures. But yeah, Jetfire could potentially fit in with the Masterpiece figures if you so choose. But yeah, we'll get Sunstorm out of the way and get into some of the features. Now, as you can see, Jetstorm is pretty much armed to the teeth. And all the chrome bits that you see, the thrusters, the gun, these two guns, and the guns at the bottom, which are, well, you can see a little bit of, those are all removable. As you can see, and yeah, looking at the bottom, yeah, you can see there's a robot down there. But what's interesting is that in most cases you don't even have to remove the weapons to transform it. Except for maybe the front one on the front, because that becomes his normal weapon. Now, these ones, they're actually designed to go on here at the bottom. Like so. So he has a lot of guns at the undercarriage. But I like them on the wings. But if you leave them like this, you don't have to take him off to transform him, which is an interesting positive. But for the sake of showing him without the weapons, let's get these all off. And they just peg in. I mean, each one has a peg to go into. And these weapons actually go around the landing gear, which is nice, but they are also the hardest to remove. Kind of gotta dig in to get them off. As you can see, they're all done in this nice little red vac metal chrome. You know, I kind of dig it, but I can see where people wouldn't be fond of it. Usually this is like vac metal with a coat of clear red paint over it. And that clear paint can chip off if you're not careful. But all in all, it does give it an interesting shine. If you're not fond of the vac metal, the Takara Tomy version actually doesn't have vac metal on it, so you can use that version. But anyway, here's Jetfire without the armor pieces. As you can see, he's more of a standard jet without it, and still looks really good. The wings can actually move in and out, depending on how fast you want them to go. So you can, if you want them to go faster, you can actually put the wings in, and it can't fly on its own, obviously, but you know, and it was designed to fold in when you want to go faster. At least that's the way I think it is. I don't know a lot about jets. But the landing gear does roll, which is a nice positive. And the front landing gear can be retracted. So you don't have to have that landing gear up. Nice touch at the front. He has an Autobot symbol right on the nose cone, which is pretty cool. But other than that, yeah, there's not much else to say. Oh, although I should do a quick comparison with the classics. Let me just get this armor back on. Let me take a moment. Like I said, the armor just pegs on. And the gun has a firing missile. So, in case you missed it, load, and yeah, fire. I'll do it one more time because I'm not sure if I got that on camera. Load and push the little black button. Yep. Fire is pretty strong too, which is a positive. I'm going to put them on the wings where I like them. So he's got his guns. Fold these down a bit to put the thruster pack on. And I like the fact that they put the white bit on there to really make the thrusters feel like part of the jet. Another interesting touch is that the thrusters are in the joint, so you can actually have them flip around if you desire. Mostly for robot mode if you want the thrusters pointing up. But yeah, for one last comparison, we're going to bring in the 2006 Classics Jetfire. Bring it in on that side. Now, as you can see, there is a significant difference in the styles. The color schemes are pretty much the same, and yeah, mine is using the Repro label set to help boost up the Classics look. As you can see, there is the Classics Jetfire is a bit chunkier and smaller, and has thicker pylons, although they also feature the flip-out guns, which this one does not have. But all in all, I do like the Leader class a little bit better. It just has more of a jet feel to it. But anyway, I think we've talked enough about the vehicle mode. Let's get him into robot mode and see how he looks there. Now that we have Jetfire in his robot mode, he is a really big bot. I mean, that guy is a really tall figure. If you're wondering just how tall, here's a classic Starscream again. As you can see, he towers over Starscream, and that's a deluxe figure. So why don't we bring in a Voyager class? This recently released, well, Evolution 2-pack version of Classics Prime. And yeah, he even towers over Optimus, which is actually show accurate for G1. So it works. And I do like him. I mean, Jetfire is a really nice looking figure. And I think it turned out pretty good. So, getting into his articulation, we'll get these guys out of the way real quick. And yeah, Jetfire has a ball jointed head. Well, he has not a ball jointed, but it's a swivel left and right, and he does have some up and down movement, although these little antennas will get in the way. Nice thing about it is that these antennas are actually part of a mask. If I can get it off, there we go, to reveal a more G1, like a cartoon accurate head, which has a wider range of up and down movement. And we'll give you another look at the masked face, get a nice close-up of it, which is more reminiscent of the G1 toy. So yeah, you have two ways to actually put him on display: G1 toy mask or G1 cartoon face. And if you want to use the face, the mask actually has a nice feature where it can actually slot itself right onto the gun, which is a little tricky, but yeah, it just goes in like that, and it makes the gun look a little more unique. Now, one more thing I want to get into on the chrome, and this is the, well, pretty much legitimizes the concerns about having vac metal chrome, is that it does chip. You can see right here that it's actually starting to chip off the gun and reveal the silver chrome. So yeah, the concern about the vac metal chrome is a legitimate one. So, like I said, Takara is making a version which just uses red plastic. And if you prefer to just have red plastic over chrome, go with the Takara version. Which is unusual because back in the day, well, back in 2006 when they were releasing classics and all that, the Japanese versions were the ones that had all the chrome. So it's an interesting flip. But yeah, get Starscream out of there. Yeah, well, back to his articulation. since I got a little bit off topic. Like I said, he has left and right, up and down at the head, forward, back, nice clicky ratchet joints at the shoulders, in and out at the shoulders, it's a good range, bicep swivel, nice clicky elbows, no wrists unfortunately though, no waist, which is a shame, but he has clicky hips that go up to there, thigh swivel, he also goes out at the hips, another nice clicky ratchet, and he has a really good deep knee bend at the knees, and they're also very clicky, and he has forward backward movement at the toes. So yeah, you can get some nice poses with him. Pretty much doing some walking. Although sometimes you gotta work at it to make sure he can keep his balance. Yeah. Now, if this isn't tall enough for you, there is a way to make him look a little taller. And that involves the thrusters. I believe I mentioned before that these thrusters could flip around, like so. They're actually on a rotational joint. I'm moving these legs back in because they are, there we go. They were getting a little unstable, but yeah, you can actually flip them around and give them these really big shoulder spikes, which I don't know why anybody would actually want it this way. To be honest, I think they were fine as they were. So, back around I go. And yeah, Jetfire looks really cool in his robot mode. I do like the big jet. I love the fact that it's got this G1 style chest, even though it's pretty much got a fake cockpit on it. The real cockpit's on the back. But even the back kibble is actually done pretty compact, and it's not overwhelming the figure, which is a plus. You want these to be as compact and streamlined as possible because they get the most usability out of the way. In case of point on that, I'm going to do a comparison with the Classics Jetfire, who is shorter by a long shot, but a lot chunkier. Yeah, I mean, you got all those weapons on him, and yeah, Classics Jetfire also had the mask feature, where you could just take off the helmet to reveal a more show accurate Jetfire. And he's starting to show signs of that other problem that he has. But yeah. And I think the leader class really does look better. So it's but you know, that's my opinion, so I'm entitled to it. But yeah, I think the leader class Jetfire looks a lot better than the old Classics one. And he stands easier too. As you can see, Classics Jetfire is not very stable. I can just tap him the same, and he will actually stay standing. Classics Jetfire will not do that. He will fall over if you so much as breathe on him. So yeah. Later classes a lot more solid. Okay. But yeah, there's one more thing to show. Like I said before, as I showed before, all the weapons, you don't need them on. The chrome bothers you. You can take all these parts off. Although the leg guns do take a little effort to get off. And there you have Jetfire, pretty much without all his armor pieces. And yeah, the only downside about that is that on the arms they're a bit hollow, where the guns would go. I mean, it's kind of clever on Hasbro's parts to put the holes where the gun would be, so the gun would cover it up. But it doesn't help that people will want to view this without the guns. So yeah, that is a downside. It doesn't stop the figure from being good though. So I would recommend Jetfire to anybody who wants a good Jetfire. But anyway, and you know, just one more thing. I'm not fond of the leg armor being on the legs in robot mode or on the landing gear. So there is an alternative way to display those, because they actually peg pretty nicely on the sides of the pylons. You can even, if you want to, peg the arm cannons on there to just have all the weapons on a single backpack. Well, almost. The handgun doesn't really have a spot, although it does have some pegs on it, so you could also put them on here and combine them into a super gun like that. If you want to be over ridiculous. I prefer to just I'll keep the arm cannons on the arms. Oh, and shoot the camera for whatever reason. And, you know, put the leg armor on the pylons. That would be my ideal way of displaying him. Although that can make him a bit on the back heavy side if you're not careful. So if you do display him with all the guns on the back, just try to be careful about how you stand him up. But yeah, he does look pretty good with this arrangement. And as you can see, the weapons don't look bad on the back like that. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this review, and I will see you next time. So take care, have fun, and bye-bye.